Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T. Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in T.
And welcome back to Sweet Tea Time. I have such a treat for you today. I brought my friend, my very dear, sweet, powerful, impactful, amazing friend, Chevonne, with me, and we're going to have such a great conversation. So I hope you're ready, because we're ready. We've been preparing this for you for a long time. So if you're not ready, get ready, because here we go. Chevonne, welcome to Sweet Tea Time. Now, before we get serious, because we are going to get serious, I want you to tell us about this person who's sitting in this seat today. So tell us about Chevonne today, 2026 Chevonne.
So I am still a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
I work full-time,
Mm-hmm.
full-time job. I own my own business,
Mm-hmm.
and I help people with their finances
Mm-hmm.
and budgeting and all of that, helping them find who they are, discover who they are.
Tell us your company name.
Finding You Transformation Coaching.
And that is truly what you do.
Yes.
That is truly what
Because
you do.
what I realized in my journey is that, finances are only a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can help someone with their
Mhm.
finances and their budget, but it's all connected to who you are.
Uh-huh.
And it is so important to find who you
Yeah.
are, to discover who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
So, so now I help people.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I was very hard on myself for was becoming a single mom, because I never envisioned that. I always thought I would be married before I
Mhm.
had children. And
Yellow house,
And
picket fence.
absolutely.
5 kids.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, I beat myself up
Mm.
and was extremely hard on myself. But that is the one thing that I use the most
Yeah.
now, because it's we think the things that hinder us are
Yeah.
mistakes, the
Yeah.
things that we did wrong, but those are the very things that we should be using in our life now
Mhm.
to help people, because there's so many people who are going through what you once did.
Yeah.
So now what I do, my heart, my passion,
Mm.
is to go back and to lift those people up.
Yep.
And to help people.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
When you can take all of the trials and tribulations and all the turmoil and the hurt and the pain, when you can use all of that to help people.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Mm-mm.
Nothing better.
Mm-mm. So you help people with budgeting. I think that is such a massive thing. I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about. I know that they think about, like, I don't have enough money,
Yeah.
and they think about where's the extra money going to come from. But I don't know that they understand the importance of budgeting and saving and tracking every dollar and all the things that you do, how the things you do. So just so you all know, I send people to her. I teach you how to make it. She teaches you how to manage it and multiply it. So can you talk a little bit about finding you and your process in helping people, get a good grip on their money stuff?
Yeah. So, my heart is to just help people that are, whether they're struggling financially, barely making enough, or making a ton of money and just don't know how to manage it. So I will help create budgets. I will help, put systems and structures in place to manage their money, to save money,
Mm-hmm.
to
Go on vacation.
to go on vacation, to enjoy their life, to
Mhm.
do whatever it is that they want to do.
Where-
Because a budget really is to not restrict you from not having a life and not being
Yeah.
able to do anything, but allowing you to do everything that you want.
Yeah. And a lot of people do think that if I get on a budget, that means it's going to tell me everything I can't do and everything I don't have enough for.
Yes.
But you're saying a budget actually does the opposite.
Yes.
How?
Because depending on what your situation is.
Yeah. Give
But
us a scenario.
it's okay, so you're not making a ton, you don't have a ton of extra money at the end of the month, right?
Mhm.
But you have some,
Mhm.
couple $100 a month, let's say.
Mhm.
Well, you want to go on vacation. So in your mind, you're never going to be able to go on vacation because you don't have the money to do so.
Yeah.
But a budget allows you to start saving for that vacation that
Sure.
you want to take. So in 6 months, you can now take the vacation that you wanted because you saved, you planned for it. So
Mhm.
really it's just planning. It's just determining what you want
Yeah.
and what do you want your budget to look like? Because really it's up to you. We look at all of your debt. So we write it all down. And I think that this is the hardest part for most people.
Absolutely.
Is to actually see it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you're better off if you just leave it over there
Mhm.
and you don't look at it, and then maybe it'll disappear.
Yeah.
And the truth is it's not going to.
Yeah.
Until you face it, until you look at it. So you writing down all of your bills,
Yeah.
everything, all of your outgo, and then writing down, making a list of everything that you owe. So all of your debts. And then once you can see that, then you can plan,
There you
make
go.
a plan for it.
Okay. Okay.
But you can't make a plan until you face it.
Mhm.
And you can't face it until you can actually see it on paper to see exactly what you're dealing with.
Okay. So I now know everything that I'm dealing with. We're probably sitting there crying.
I know I was back then.
So I know all the things that I'm dealing with, all the debt, all the things, all the frustration, all the things. And you had me write it down. I wrote it down in blue pen, my little worksheet, my little budget sheet. I didn't make an Excel spreadsheet. You'd had me write it down. You had me physically write it down. That's so borderline traumatizing. So you got to first gather all of it. You got to write it all down, and then you got to look at it. And then how do you give me some hope in this situation? Because now I see my mess.
Yes.
What's next?
So we look at everything, your bills and all of your outgo. And oftentimes there are ways that you can shave down things that, whether it's subscriptions, certain things that you might be able to take away or reduce. So I've had many clients where we have reduced what they're paying for their utilities, their, Wi-Fi or different bills that they have where you can negotiate certain things. So you work to get those bills decreased in any areas that you can or eliminate certain things if you're able to do that.
That's good. Okay. So now we look for ways that we can save on just regular monthly bills.
Yes.
Okay. So hope is growing. Hope is growing for little messed up T who messed up all of her money.
And sometimes those little things
Yeah.
really encourage people like,
Sure.
wow, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep taking the steps to do this because it is encouraging when you can shave money here and there.
Okay.
And usually it's, a couple $100. You just, you don't know until you have it on paper, even what you're spending.
Yeah, that's so, because you think about things like I have, people have subscriptions and that stuff is sneaky to me because they'll say, oh, this is going up $1. And then you tell yourself, oh, $1 not so bad, but it's every month $1 more than the other dollars you were already doing with the subscription. And then you realize like you maybe needed that subscription for a season, but you don't need it for where you are, where you're going, but you're still paying for it. But you forget that you're still paying for it because you're on autopilot. And if you're not looking at it, don't have it written down, you can forget that you're doing this subscription and they just started charging you more because you didn't even see the email that says, oh, we're increasing your stuff because it went to your junk mail and you just thought it was more of their stuff. So now this money's going out, and you're not even aware of it. So then saving money that way, huge. Okay, so now I want to add something like for the future. I want to add something like I want to build my savings account, or I want to take my kids on a vacation, or I want to pay off debt. How do you build that into your new system?
So you would look at, what you have at the end. What do you have left over after you eliminate what you can?
Over.
Well, You don't have anything left over?
Well, 20 years ago?
Oh,
Like
okay.
20
So
years ago. Like I did this thing. I had nothing left over. I needed some money. Like, what do I do? You gotta know what I do. I take my kids on a vacation. Yeah, we went around the corner. That was our vacation. I had enough
Gotcha.
money for 2 tanks of gas.
Mhm.
So what do I do when we do this and I realize there isn't anything left over? Like I'm barely making it. How do I leap forward from there? Like what's your process to help people?
My process is changing our mindset. It
Mm,
is so important.
mm.
Also, something you taught me
Oh,
many years ago.
oh.
You would ask me, and I know you asked so many people this, but you would ask me, what do you want?
Mm,
And that was the one question for a long time
mm.
I couldn't answer. You would ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I would get frustrated at you asking me that question because
would get
I didn't know.
She would get mad at me. She would get mad at me because she didn't know what she wanted. She would get upset, be like, how dare you? How dare you ask me what I want in life? What?
But if you know what you want,
Huh.
then you know what your next step even possibly is. So if
Mm.
that means you need more money, then okay, how can we get you that money? But first we have to change your mindset
Yeah.
of that this place, your circumstances doesn't have to be your future.
Woo.
You have to know that. You have to know that you deserve better, and not because you worked and earned, you earned it, but sometimes it takes hard work to get to where you want to go.
Sure.
And so, changing your mindset and knowing that you can have what you want, and then making a plan, of, okay, so does that mean a new job? Does that mean you need more money? If you're not making enough, you need more income.
Mm.
So, but again, it starts with the mindset. It starts with your thinking and what you believe. And what you believe you will have, whether positive or negative.
That's the word, hummingbird. So what you believe you will have. I don't know that people put enough weight on their own belief.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't even know. When I would, back in the day when we really initially did all this stuff, I had no clue that I could do better.
Yeah.
I believed, and the reason I believed that that was where I belonged is because for 4 generations in my family, that's all that was modeled. I grew up in it. I didn't know another way. I believed that this just is how it was for people like me.
Yeah.
So that I think is so important. You have to change what you believe you're entitled to
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Okay. So now 20 years ago, she identified all her crap. She brought all the receipts, all the statements, all the stuff to you. You had me write everything down with blue Bic pen on a paper so I can't erase it. And even if my tears get on it, it doesn't smudge. Okay, so I wrote it down. And then we identify what's going out, what we can reduce, what we can modify, what's coming in, how we can make it work for us. And then you help me work through my belief.
Yes.
This is where I'm at. It's not where I'm going to be forever. This is what I want. This is where I want to go. So you're helping me with that. How long did it take for you to convert from that sequence of moments? And did you have any relapses? And how often do you see that in your clients?
I would say, yes, I had relapses because it's a process.
Sure.
I would say, even to this day,
Mm-hmm.
I have to make sure that I'm thinking and believing the right things.
Yeah.
So I don't know that the process ever stops
Okay.
with that.
Because every time you grow or you take another leap or you go to another level, that person has to visit this process.
Yes,
Huh.
absolutely. And so I think that, but you're able to see your progress. You're able to see that you don't stay in those places as long. You don't, your recovery time is faster. So although you have, relapses, or you feel, because sometimes you even question, man, why am I back here again?
Yeah.
But it's not that you're not back there again where you used to be. You're just, it's another layer of the onion.
Yeah.
People say you have to peel the onion. There's layers,
Yeah.
and there's layers to everything. And this is no different. So it's just peeling another layer and knowing that, nope, I've come really far and I'm not even the same woman I used to be, and reminding yourself of that, and then continuing to keep going.
Okay. So how do you build a budget for your future? Not the future not the 130 days from now, but how do you build the financial structure on paper that pushes you in the direction of your highest best?
Determine what you want.
Yep.
How much money do you want to make?
Yeah.
Um, when I had, stepping blocks, if you will, of how much money I wanted to make. And when I accomplished that, I was like, okay, well now, because when you get to that place, you're like, okay, well now I need more money, because to be able to sustain, this lifestyle that I want to live. And so I think it's determining how much you want to make, and then allowing yourself permission to go after it and do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah. Okay, so you've mentioned something a few times and I've watched you do it, and I think it's really cool. I haven't mastered it. I think I have coins in a jar, but I have not mastered this system. Tell me about your envelope system.
So the envelope system.
Pause. Tell us about your envelope system.
The envelope system is, you determine what things you want to save for, or what things. So for example, I used to have envelopes for my car registration, Christmas. So I'm saving all year long for these things, and I'm putting money in an envelope. And when I first started, I started out with $5 in, I think, there was a couple different envelopes because I couldn't afford to do anything more than that.
Yeah.
I started out with $5. But what it is you are saving for whatever it is you want to save for, a vacation, anything, birthdays, to be able to buy gifts for people.
Yeah.
It could be anything you want.
Yeah.
And then you put money in, and you determine the frequency. So if it's, if you get paid twice a month, is it twice a month you're putting money in there? Is it just once a month? You determine how often, and you determine how much, but you're putting money in that envelope. And I think really it's the consistency of it. Sometimes it's not about the amount, even if you're putting $1 in there. It's being consistent.
Practicing
Correct.
that consistency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being consistent with it does something to your mindset also. And then, the same with your savings, putting money in savings, even if it's $1 every single month, but watching that grow. And even if it's just a little bit, you start feeling better.
But it's the same with your debt.
Absolutely.
Putting something towards the debt.
Absolutely.
Being consistent about it, and then watching it decrease.
Yes.
So you're saying that the consistency piece of the journey is key, especially when it comes to your money.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's really what the envelope system teaches you, right?
Yeah.
And then, the more you you swipe your card, the more you have no knowledge of what you're spending. You go to the grocery store and you spend $400 and you swipe your card. There's nothing that came out of your wallet. There's nothing tangible that you could see. And so, when you are using the envelope system, you only have what's in that
You
envelope.
value what's in there
That's right.
totally differently.
That's right.
And you want it
And
to
once
grow
it's
and
gone-
not disappear.
That's right. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So then you look at it and say, do I really want this burger and fries? Or do I want to wait for, another week and we can go to a nice dinner or
Yeah.
something, you know? So it's also priority. What's a priority
Hmm.
for you as well?
And it helps you with that decision making around what's priority. I
Yes.
think that we live in a time where instant gratification,
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's practice, it's lifestyle. It's not even something people think about anymore. They want it and they want it right now.
Right now.
Compliments of Amazon and drive through everything and all the things. You get it like in 4 hours overnight.
Yes.
So no one wants to wait for anything like that. But in that being a practiced or a consistent way of thinking and lifestyle function, it's also working to your detriment, especially if you're aspiring for a bigger future that requires you to have more resources. So the patience piece that complements consistency, I think, is super important. You just pointed out. So thank you for that, because we've arrived to a place. We both, and so many of our close associates, where you just buy the thing.
Sure.
You just buy the thing. But if you, on the journey, develop the discipline through consistency of watching and waiting, adding value and priority, is this a priority? That discipline will kick in.
Absolutely.
And we've been out doing things and, going places and eating stuff and buying things. And I'll hear you say, or I'll say, and then I'll even say, I'm probably the worst person for you to ask that question, because I'm more of a, hey, take the risk, jump off the cliff. You'll figure out how to fly. Let's go. And you're just like, yeah, should I? So, having you, in my circle, you're very good temperance for me, because I'm just an aggressive risk taker. And sometimes I won't evaluate the situation, especially when it looks like tremendous opportunity. I will leap before I even look. And so, just hearing you say that right now, like you're around people, but you don't always know what triggers them to do and say some of the things they say. So that very simple system is what I hear coming out of you sometimes. Well, I got to stop doing that. And I'm like, why? You can afford it. You're like, yeah. However, I'm thinking about her, not her.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that goal, not right now.
Yes.
So thank you. You just helped me with that, because even though you can afford it, and you can, I think, calculated risk is critical.
Yes.
And that whole system is amazing. So tell me about some of the victories, some of the things that you've watched people overcome as a result of implementing some of the systems that you help them build through your company.
People have gotten out of debt. I think, and it's exciting when people get out of debt and they're excited about it. But I think the thing that continues to motivate me to do what I do is watching people change as a person, who they are.
Yeah. As you look back, like, what's something that you would never let your old self do ever again?
Probably one of the biggest things is I would tell her to love herself.
Like, how would she do that? Like, what do you do to love yourself now that you didn't do then?
Number one, making the choice to believe what others were saying to me.
Well, the right others.
The right
some
others,
other people.
correct. I think it was knowing that it was okay to take care of myself, even though I had a child, because I always felt guilty for that. Giving myself permission to, that it wasn't selfish of me. Giving myself permission to do the things that I enjoyed doing. It took me a long time to get there, to that place, though.
How's it feel?
Feels great. It doesn't feel selfish anymore. It feels necessary. I think it's important that we allow our children to see those things, because they're going to repeat what we do. And if they don't see us taking care of ourselves and doing fun things and enjoying our life, then they won't either.
Going back to that young lady, what are some of the things that she hoped for, that she wished for, that she prayed for, that you're walking in today?
Well, and I think it's important to say that for a long time, she didn't wish or hope for anything, because she didn't know that she could have anything more than the current life that she was living. So I think it took a long time to get to, many years to get to the place where she would allow herself, gave herself permission to even want things
Yeah.
for herself.
Yeah.
But my daughter was always my why. She was always the reason I did everything for a long time.
Hmm.
She was the reason why I fought to be the person I am today, was for her, to give her a better life, and so I think that, you know,
What was better life to you? Like, what was better life?
well, at that time I was struggling financially. I didn't even have the money to pay my rent on my own. My mom was helping me financially when my daughter was a baby, and that was very humbling. I was on government assistance, which never thought that I would, that I would be in the place that I was. And so, better was just
Better than that.
better than that.
Describe 29-year-old Chevonne. Like, describe her. You close your eyes and you look at her. Who do you see? Not what do you see, but who do you see?
I see a broken young lady,
Mm-hmm.
broken heart, very hurt by people,
Mm-hmm.
but also herself,
Oof.
because of some of the decisions and mistakes that she made. She so badly just wanted to be loved,
Yeah. Yeah.
and was definitely looking for love in all of the wrong places.
Oh.
She just was hopeless. She didn't know how to want more for her life. She wanted more, but didn't know how to
Yeah.
get there, didn't know what to do. She tried really hard
Yeah.
to be perfect.
Oof.
Really hard to be what everybody else wanted her to be.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And it was exhausting.
Yeah. It's definitely exhausting.
Yeah.
So then I would ask, in seeing her that way and then making the decisions that you've made, would you say that she would be proud of you today?
I think she would be proud. I do. I think that she would say it was worth the fight.
Yeah.
It was worth the battle.
Yeah.
It was worth going through everything
Yeah.
she went through to get to where we are today.
Yeah. And I have had the very unique honor of watching as a witness this process of evolution. And I mentioned it, before. It's been nothing short of miraculous to me, just watching your growth, your tenacity, the breakdowns. Those are not hard. Those are hard to watch. But then the buildups and the bounce backs. And, sometimes you cannot even know how powerful you are until somebody points it out.
Yeah.
So I've always been fascinated by I'll say the fact that you are one of the most determined people I know. Tell us about the importance of your circle.
I think it's important because those are the people who are going to be there for you in your moments. I mean, there's always moments, no matter how far you've come, no matter how high you climb. There's always moments of struggle. And so it's so important to have people in your life who genuinely love you and want to see you win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had to realize that not everybody wants to see you win. And And it may not even be that they don't
It's
like
not
you
malicious.
or
It's just,
no, but sometimes they're just people aren't for you.
yeah.
Um, and so I have been very cautious. I have become very cautious of who I let in my circle
Sure.
now, because I used to be very naive
Yeah.
and think that everybody
yeah.
loved me, everybody cared,
Yep.
everybody wanted to see me win, and again, it might not be that they're doing anything bad, but sometimes it's just they're
And then it might be that they're doing it from a not so great place
sure,
too.
absolutely.
So what's your process of determining, your boundary system? Like who gets to fit where? What's your process for that?
I think, well, you find out when you're going through something, right? You find out who's there. You find out who is strong enough themselves to be in the trenches with you, because not everybody is.
Nope.
And not everybody is going where you're going and doing what you're doing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's no bad in that. But so I think it takes time. It's a process of figuring out who deserves to be in your circle.
That's a key word. I think if people can develop that understanding, everybody doesn't deserve to be in such close proximity of you, especially when you're evolving.
Yeah.
So giving somebody the gift of closeness and intimacy with you, that is a deserved thing. Now, how did this young lady in her 20s, who's really seeing nothing but hopelessness around her and self-hatred and I don't like my life, I don't know what to do about it, et cetera, how did she blossom to, you don't deserve to be so close to me, especially if you're detrimental to me? You had to develop some kind of, I love me.
Yes.
So what did you do to do that?
Well, I think that was the process of, number one, forgiving myself. When I was able to forgive
Like for
myself
what?
for all the mistakes, all the, things that I wished I wouldn't have done in my life. And I think that even becoming a single mom, that was something that was difficult for me. And I never saw that for my life. So forgiving myself then allowed myself to be in a place where I started to learn to love me. And and again, that was a journey.
Yeah.
It was definitely a process. But once I started loving me, then I was able to say, wait a second,
Yeah.
you don't deserve to be in my circle because I see, these things.
Because of what they're demonstrating, you could see.
Absolutely.
But you wanted to see too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also think that you attract different types of people when you are broken yourself. So when you are not feeling good about yourself, you don't love yourself, you're going to attract a whole different type of
Brand
person
of human.
than you do when you do love yourself and you know that you deserve love and you know that you deserve good people in your life and people who are going to show up for you.
Yeah, you're magnetized for it. They'll come to you. So I remember a time when, my circle was shifting and there was maybe like one or two people in it and you were one of them. Like I'm doing all these great, heavy, hard things, but I didn't have a friend group. And you mentioned that, everybody can't go with you, especially when the direction you're going is up. And so I found myself alone a lot. And, just curiously, is that something that you had to face as you were evolving and growing? Did you have periods where, the circle wasn't as dense with people? And did you have to battle loneliness in that? Or did you think it was good for you, or was it both?
Yeah. So I think at the time It was lonely.
Mm.
I don't know. Sometimes when we're going through it, we don't always know the why. So we don't know why things are happening the way that they're happening. But looking back on it now,
Mhm.
I can see that those periods of time were necessary for my
Sure.
growth.
Mm.
And I always had you. So that was always, so I knew I had one person in my corner at least,
Yep.
that was always there, that would build me up when I needed it, would encourage me when I needed it, would love me, would give me a hug, would be anything that I needed.
Mm.
And so there were periods of time where that had to be enough. And it didn't always feel enough because I always wanted more. I wanted more friendships. I wanted family.
Yeah.
I wanted, but there were also seasons that couldn't be the case until I grew, until I grew through some things, forgave some people. There was some healing that needed to be done in me before some of the relationships that are in my life now could either come back into my life or could be present now. So I think it is all a part of the growth. It's all a part of the journey. We don't always like the journey. Sometimes we
So
just want to get to the
necessary, though.
destination. But I think about everything that I've gone through since I was 28.
For example.
Well, I had my daughter at 28. She's 15 now. So I had her, and that is where my whole life changed. You know, she changed my world. And I knew that I had to show up differently because of her. And so I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what steps to take, but I kept taking the steps I believed that I was supposed to take. And so, you know, I had mentioned before when she was a baby, I was on government assistance. I was living in an apartment, just her and I didn't even have enough money to pay my rent. So I was in the red every month. I was on child action for her daycare. I mean, all the things. It was very humbling in that process.
Yeah.
I remember going to the grocery store one time. I was on WIC, and someone humiliated me. They humiliated me, the lady at the cash register. And it was so embarrassing. But I remember in that moment, as embarrassed as I was, I remember saying to myself, this is not going to be my life. And so it was moments like that. It was all the struggle. It was the struggle with my daughter's father was not always pleasant. And that was very, very challenging over the years.
Yeah.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of hard things. I struggled financially. So, you know, that was another thing. So it sometimes it just seemed like it was thing after thing. But I knew that I wanted more for me and my baby girl.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, I kept fighting. I don't even know that I knew what I was fighting for.
Yeah.
But I kept fighting forward. I kept, you know, taking the steps and doing whatever I knew to do at the moment to have more.
Okay. So you mentioned you took steps. You've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah.
I find that there are people out there that are like you in that they were 28 or they were this age and they've gone as far as they can go with what they know from their upbringing or from their education, and they just need some steps. How did you know or get your steps? And then if you're willing to maybe share a few of them, that could be maybe common touch points for some of the people that are watching today that find themselves resonating with you.
My steps started internally for me.
Sure. Yeah.
It was, you know,
Which is
owning my stuff, right? And I think I had to come to a place where I started owning my decisions
okay.
rather than beating myself up for making them.
Yeah.
It was analyzing, why did I make them?
Yeah.
And once I was able to,
But not from a place where you're abusing yourself. 'Cause some
No.
people do that. They'll go
No.
internal just to be, angry with themselves, but you're analyzing.
even being angry at other people.
Okay.
So there was a time in my life where I was angry at my daughter's father.
Mm.
Well, I'm angry at him because he's this, that, or the other. But I had to own the fact that I picked him. That was my choice.
Ooh.
And so I could keep blaming him for
Sure.
everything that he's not, or everything he
Sure.
didn't show up for, or not helping me, or I could say that all day long. And all those are facts and maybe true.
Yeah.
However, I had to look at myself and say, yeah, but you could keep blaming him, but what about you?
Oh.
And so I had to own it.
Yeah.
And I think once I could own my decisions, my mess, that is when I could start to climb out of the hole that
That's
I
clean it up.
put myself in.
Very good. Very good. And it's very easy, I find, for some people to play the blame game and to complain game and
Absolutely.
the shame game. And it keeps you anchored right where you're at.
Yes,
The
it
moment
does.
you can look at the mess and say, yeah, I literally contributed to that.
Yes,
I think that empowers you to do something about it.
absolutely.
Impressive.
But it's not easy.
no.
It's not easy to
No.
humble yourself and say, you know what, I did wrong.
Yeah.
This was me.
Yeah.
Or okay, this was them, but it was also me.
Okay.
But acknowledging.
What was the first sign that your life was truly changing? Like, what was tell me about the moment where you're like, oh my God, my life is different.
I would say when things started happening, there were a couple job promotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I started making more money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary during the process too.
Yeah.
For me, I was not always a person that liked change. So change for me was very difficult. Yeah. So change
Most
was very
people don't
difficult.
like change.
That's
They
very
hate
true.
it.
That is very true. But as I, sometimes I have to talk to myself still, but as I have come to embrace change
Mhm.
more, I realize that my life is less stressful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm, there's less fear.
Yeah.
There's less worry.
So are you saying if you embrace change instead of fight against change, that you eliminate fear and stress? What did you have to do with yourself to embrace the change of that?
Give myself permission
Ooh.
to leave my comfort zone.
Ooh.
What I'm familiar with,
Yeah.
what makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
What made me comfortable was, this job. But every job I'd go to, it was always better than the one before. Then I'm
Mhm.
like, man, why didn't I
I
do
do
this
this
2 years ago? But it was always better.
Yeah.
And I never, every time I embraced change, I was never worse off.
Yeah.
I was always better off.
Yeah.
When I allowed myself though to step out, it's like stepping out on a branch of a tree, and you step out on that branch, but then you get out there and you're like, okay, this is too scary. And you
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you have to do that a time or
Mhm.
two, but
Mhm.
eventually you have to make the conscious decision to, nope, I'm going for it. And I'm going to take the step, and I'm going to walk out on that limb. And if I fall,
Yeah.
there'll be someone in my corner.
You fell trying.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be someone in my corner that's going to help me back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's going to love me
Yeah.
and tell me everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And so what's your advice for someone who's on the cusp of that? They're on the very brink of it and they haven't pushed themselves into it yet to allow that kind of love and support.
Well, I would say keep working on yourself, because you attract what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are in a place, just know that wherever you are right now, that is not your future. That is not where you're going to be forever. That is just, it's a part of the journey that's allowing you to grow and morph into the person who you will become.
Yeah.
And so
And it's necessary. It's
it's
necessary.
absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the journey and we just got right to the destination, there would never be any growth.
Yeah.
We would never have to use faith.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, there's, and again, we want to get to the destination. Though.
Sure.
That's most of us are looking for that,
Yeah.
but we're not looking for the process that builds us into the person that
Yep.
can sustain
That's
where
it.
the destination is.
There you go.
And so we have to allow ourselves to grow.
Yeah.
And and it's all the lessons and all the things along the way that we learn that builds us into who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can do so much more
Yeah.
because of all of the lessons and everything that we've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you give us one of your number one lessons? Your journey is beautiful.
I would say to give yourself grace
Mm.
and forgive yourself for everything you've done, and just know that it's all a part of who you are and who you will become.
Mm-hmm. What does forgiveness look like to you? Like, do you say something?
I say something only because it helps me when I say it out loud.
What do you say out loud?
That I forgive so and so for doing X, Y, and Z.
Okay. But when you forgive yourself, like, what do you say to you?
And I think it's important to remember where you've come from.
Mm-hmm.
And never forget where you've been.
Mm-hmm.
I remind myself often of how far I've come.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps me, especially when you're going through the moments,
Yeah.
when you're going through the hard times, and reminding yourself, no, it's where I am today, because there are things that I want now that, so I won't be even where I'm at forever. This is not my final destination.
Mm-mm.
And it was the same back then. So just knowing that I'm not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
Things are going to continue to evolve. I will continue to evolve.
Yeah.
My life will continue to evolve. And, but
And the only time you don't is when you're dead.
that's right.
And that's, like, it's change and growth and evolution, period.
Yeah.
Like that's the constant.
Yes.
And if your life is this, that only means one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You flatline, you're not evolving, you're not growing, you're dying. So just, again, I want to go back to forgiveness. How do you forgive other people? Like, what are your steps? What do you say to forgive other people who've hurt you, who've caused you to stumble, who've been a stumbling block mentally and emotionally for you? What do you say to them? And I know that sometimes you can't even say something to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you say something out loud even though they can't hear it?
I do. So I say it to myself, but out loud, because that helps me. If I just do it in my thoughts, it's just, it's different. So I say it out loud, and I forgive so-and-so for, X, Y, and Z, for them hurting me, whatever that they did. And I do that as many times as I need to do that.
Yeah.
I'm a woman of faith, so I also pray for them.
Yeah.
And praying for people who have hurt you is not always easy.
Mm-mm.
And it is really hard to start.
Yeah.
But that is something that has helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
And just knowing that me forgiving them, it's not about them. It's really about me.
Yeah.
And it's not
But you're
letting them
not-
off the hook.
Yeah.
It's just letting myself, people say all the time, letting yourself out of that prison. It's just you imprison yourself when you are angry and bitter with somebody because of the way that they treated you or what they did. And so being able to say whatever it is I need to say, to just, it's okay. It's okay that they did what they did. Because you know what I've learned? Some people don't know what they're doing.
Hurt people.
That's right. And especially, we look at our parents sometimes, and sometimes our parents hurt us sometimes. I'm sure we hurt our kids sometimes, and we don't mean to. And the one thing that I've realized is that most people are doing the best that they can, and with the capacity that they have.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that what they did was right, what they said was right, how they treated us was right. It doesn't mean any of that, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
And I think making that choice to forgive the people in my life who have hurt me and who have been terrible to me, I believe that I am where I am in my life today because I was able to forgive.
Yeah. Let go.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you watch people through this journey and this process discover their value. You see the evidence of that. Tell us about that.
Well, I think it's beautiful because, we think we're looking at finances, but it's deeper than that. And if you're looking at your finances, you're really looking at the person, who they are, who they think they are, right?
Because your money tells a lot about you.
Absolutely. So in my moments where I didn't have the money and I was struggling and I was on government assistance, and all those things are great, and I'm grateful for all of those things.
Supports.
Yes. But it was because I didn't value who I was. So being able to see people get out of debt, pay their bills, and just it brings a freedom to you. And then for them to discover who they are in the process. And that's all part of what finding you is. It's again, deeper than the finances, deeper than the money. All that stuff it'll come naturally when you know who you are and when you value yourself.
And like you said, with the onion, somewhere underneath all those layers is the real you.
Yes.
And the journey is the process of the stripping away of the things that didn't belong there really in the first place. I believe that people are born with everything they need to succeed. It's in there as a seed, but sometimes it can get buried under the hurt, the pain, the shame, the experiences that cause us to second guess our greatness. And so in your process of helping people find themselves and experiencing some of the victories with your people that you coach and consult, what advice would you give them to just get started with that process?
Just start. I
think that's one of the hardest things.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Allow yourself to have more because there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in your journey right now, there's so much more for you.
So how do you allow yourself to have more? Do you say something to yourself? Like when you forgive yourself, is there something that you say? Is there a step that you take? So I know when I wanted to dress differently, I wanted to dress better. I was walking around in Walmart sweats and hand-me-down tennis shoes that I would clean up with a toothbrush and a bar of soap. I wanted a suit. And I remember having to ask someone to come with me to a department store and help me pick out something nice because I couldn't even bring myself to do it myself. And I remember at that time I could only allow myself to buy one jacket and then one shirt and then a pair of pants. And then I was shopping in the store that the person was shopping with. They were mature in age. So I'm shopping in like older women stores. But they were trying to help me because I was trying to help me. And I couldn't do it myself. In fact, I wouldn't do it without the commitment of this other person. Like if I don't go to the store and meet with them and all the things, they'll be mad at me or whatever. So I needed that hand holding in order to change my packaging. And that was something I really knew that I needed because I'm going into these meetings trying to negotiate a contract and I'm wearing sweats. And then I told myself, well, they just have to understand because this is how I am. I work with kids and this is what I'm from. This is how I am. Yeah, no, they don't. No, they don't. If you're going into Rome, you win in Rome. Do what the Romans do. If you're going into a board meeting, you can't show up in a board meeting with freaking Walmart sweats from the men's department that were on clearance. So when you say just get started, like how?
Well, and you took me to Express was the very first store
I remember that
that
day.
you took me to, and you picked out this outfit for me that I never would have picked out for myself. And I really didn't like it that much. It was a polka dot button-up shirt.
I like that shirt.
And I liked the shirt, but it was like these orangish, it was like an orangey red color pants.
They were bright.
They were very
They
bright.
were dope, though.
And it was way out of my comfort zone, so far out of my box.
Couldn't hide in those pants.
No. And I didn't like them. And you're like, yes, this is it. And I'm just like, are you sure? Like, I really don't. And you knew I did not like it. I didn't hide it, but I bought it. Do you know that that outfit was the outfit that I got the most compliments on? So I think it is necessary that we ask people for help.
Yeah.
I think it is necessary, again, going back to our circle. If you know who's in your circle and who's for you,
Yeah.
they're going to want to do those kinds of things
Mhm.
with you and for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And just getting started right where you're at. Because I
Yeah.
remember we would go to the thrift store and get some shoes or get a coat or get something so that just to force the change.
Yeah.
So you're saying, yes, get started, but get help getting started,
Oh,
especially if you're
absolutely.
not a self-starter in a certain realm.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we hit the money stuff. You know what we haven't talked a ton about? Single parenting.
Mm.
How freaking hard is that?
Yeah, it's been hard. It has been hard.
So you mentioned earlier about the difficulty with your daughter's, biological father. I've watched you be responsible at a level that's mind-blowing sometimes. I've also watched you be compassionate at a level that is equally mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, I admire the way you've done what you've done as a single mom and a single dad all wrapped up in one person. You have a remarkable young lady
Yeah.
who's skilled and schooled in so many things, who really was gifted a quality top tier education, who has amazing vacation adventure experiences. But it didn't start like that. Tell us about your determination around not getting sucked into how hard it was to just be singular in that process. Because, I mean, you got to think about it financially. You got to think about all the emotions that come along for her,
Mhm.
with a missing link, if you will.
Mhm.
Like, coach us through that.
Yeah, it was a lot to navigate at times. But just being everything that she needed me to be, mom and dad, is
How'd you even know? Like, what did she need? What
I
did she
didn't
need?
always know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't always know what she needed. But I will say that, there were people who came into our life in different seasons
Mhm.
of our life,
Mhm.
whether they were, males, that could speak into her life and encourage her and be
But
what
you had to
she
allow
needed.
that.
I had to allow that,
You're
and that took
very
me some
good at
time.
that.
Um, it was, oh man, I think back about just everything that her and I both
Yeah.
had to overcome. I was 28, so I mean, I wasn't super young, but I wasn't, I was still young, and so, I told her that, we kind of had to grow up together
Yeah.
because I had to rediscover who I was, and it has been a process of that for me. So I think that it, just trying to give her everything that she deserved and
Mhm.
more, and um, have compassion for other parties
Yeah.
that maybe should have done more.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for the entire process, because I don't believe without all of that
Yeah.
I would be
Yeah.
the woman who sits before you today.
Yeah. Well, you also work with a whole community
Mm.
of women and men
Yeah.
like you through you, you also work with a whole community of women and men like you through your church
Yes.
too. And I think that's always really cool. Like, yes, you had the experience, but you're always so good about making sure that you contribute to others that are having the experiences that you grew from.
Mhm.
So tell me about the importance to you um, with making sure that people pass on the growth lessons so that it helps the next.
I think that's why we're all here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I know that we all look at our lives and think we should have done things differently or this should, I wished I would have done this. But at the end of the day, without those experiences,
Yeah.
how can we help people? Because if somebody came alongside me during my time of struggle and they hadn't been through anything, I don't know that I would have listened to them. I
Yeah.
don't know that I would have been able to relate to them if they hadn't, gone through life a little.
Yeah.
And so I think that we just have to remind ourselves that all of the challenges and everything that we've been through, like now we can go help somebody else. And I think that that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
Each one of us has a story to tell.
Mhm.
Each one of us has a journey to share
Yeah.
with other people, that we've learned skills and tools that now it's time to teach other people and help other people,
Yeah.
because sometimes we've all been in the place, but we just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We are so hopeless
Yeah.
that we don't know where to turn. We
Yeah.
don't know who to ask. We don't want to ask for help. We've all been there.
Yep.
And so if we've been there ourselves, why wouldn't we want to help other people?
So important. So important.
Why wouldn't we want to love people enough to give them what maybe we didn't have ourselves?
And even in doing that, it all comes back to you.
Absolutely.
You put the love out, the love comes back.
Absolutely.
You put the guidance out, somehow you're guided.
Mhm.
You put the story out, the vulnerable moment out. Sometimes trust comes right back to you.
Yeah.
So I think that, that's critical, especially in anybody's growth journey process.
Yeah.
You give what you get, baby. I think it's what helps us all.
Mhm.
So thank you for saying it lifts everything. Okay, landing it. What does peace look like for you now?
Peace looks like sitting in my Pinterest house.
She really does have a Pinterest house.
Sometimes peace is, for me, is just a hot bath, reading a book. But I find my peace, my mind is much more peaceful these days than it used to be.
Because that whole process decluttered you.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And when I can find peace in my mind without all the worry and the stress and the overwhelmedness and all the things, and it's not to say that those things don't ever happen, but when I can find the peace within, there's nothing like it for me.
Amen to that, sister.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could title this chapter of your life right now, what would the title be? And it's just a chapter. I know you're on a journey. It's a saga. It's a novel. You have other things that you still have to live. But this chapter right now, what's the name of this chapter?
I would entitle The Best Is Yet to Come. My 40s have been the best years of my life so far. Yeah. And I too know that this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Pretty exciting.
it is exciting. I thank you for not just coming on the podcast. I thank you for your example. You have taught people how to win and the importance of having the will to do that in so many ways. You didn't say the thing. You just sweetly quietly modeled the thing. And again, we live in a time where, it's no longer do as I say. It's do what you see me do. So I'm grateful for your example. I'm grateful for, what we get to call a friendship, which I believe is more of a sisterhood. We are sisters to the core. But I also thank you for the battle that it took just for you to sit in that seat today and share some of the things that you shared with people. It's always the hope and the prayer that this stuff works for somebody else the way it's worked for you. So I thank you for just being willing to be in this bubble and help us help people. And then secondly, my hope is that it's not the last time that this becomes something regular, in that your reach expands, because I really, truly, genuinely believe that people need what you have. Like you said, we're different. We're very different people. I'm a great coach in the corner, but sometimes people just need a soft touch.
Yeah.
And the balance between the two of them. So thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for being
having me.
100% uniquely you. And now I'm going to let you close. Just look in the camera and tell all the 28-year-old Chevonnes and all the 19-year-old T's and the 40, 50-year-old we's that are out there, just something to encourage them forward.
Just keep going, no matter where you are today, no matter what your circumstances say. Just know that that is not your future. Don't quit. Get a partner, get someone in your circle that can encourage you, that can love you unconditionally, that can be there for you. And just know that sky's the limit. And just know that you are beautiful inside and out, that you matter, that you're valuable, and that you can make a difference in other people's lives as well. And take everything, all of your mistakes, everything that you regret doing in life, anything that you're hard on yourself about, and just know that there are people going through that same thing now, and you can be their answer too. So yeah, I love you all.
And thank you for joining us, Sweet Tea Time.